Hey, welcome to the CBD Ed Show. I'm your host, Ed Cheney. I'm here with the lovely Kimberly Rose.
Hello, everyone.
We have a great topic for you guys today, CBD Edibles. And you know what? I didn't even say CBD Edibles. To be honest, we're going to do edibles for cannabis, period. And it appeared to be the best timing with the legalization of cannabis recreationally, medicinally. It's just everywhere now. And Kim and I are very aware that, you pick up the wrong edible and you got a long night.
Yeah, you do. Yes, yes, you do.
So we want to help you with that, and we'll walk through the many different types of edibles, how they'll impact you, the conditions in which some of these edibles might be treating. We'll let you know about quality, and we're going to do something fun. We're going to teach you how to make your own edibles too. Well, not teach you like in a kitchen, but give you the guidance so that if you wanted to, you could make your own edibles.
Yeah.
Why would somebody make their own edibles? Well, it could be nutritional. Maybe you're allergic to something, or maybe you want to control calories, or even potency. And it's really not that difficult to make them. The other one could be economic. Yeah. It's always a little cheaper to make your own than it is to go purchase. Anyway, so we're going to give you all this wonderful information today.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Okay, so let's get started. Why did edibles become popular? What the heck? What was that? Who was that guy that said, a gummy bear full of THC sounds like a good idea? Right?
Well,
and then
honestly,
the CBD industry did the same thing. Hey, let's throw it in these.
Yeah, as far as I know, I think that THC edibles have been around forever, and we're not talking about gummies, we're talking about cookies and brownies and those types of things. Years and years and years ago, there was a recipe, and I'm sure it's still around, very popular, for a THC butter.
Yeah.
That you could make all of those products with. So it's been around for forever. Only recently have I noticed the gummy form, and I'm saying recently, like the last 5 or so years, but that's also become very popular.
Yeah. Well, when we think about this, we already were quite familiar with edibles delivering vitamins and other types of supplements. I mean, gummies were very, it was comfortable to get those.
Vitamin gummies, kids were eating vitamin gummies.
And where edibles showed up even before that? Hey, vitamins in pill form, medicine in pill form, those are still edibles. Yes, we're not crunching on them with our teeth, but they are still considered edibles because they go through digestive system. So I just want to make that clarity there. So in the edible market, capsules are also considered as part of that.
Right.
Okay, if it goes through your digestive system. So we were already a fan of it. It was fairly natural for cannabis to step into that light. The other thing about edibles, especially when it comes to CBD, is there's a convenience factor to it. You get up in the morning and then there you go.
Yeah.
Right? There's not a whole lot of thinking around it, so there is a lot of convenience with edibles.
Yeah, and you can take it with you to work. Yeah. It's just you can travel with them. They're very easy.
Now, so we're kind of talking about uses for edibles and convenience as being one, but that's not the only reason. There are very specific reasons someone would prefer an edible over another source of taking in cannabis in one way or the other. May that be CBD or THC. Mm-hmm. Because you can apply it topically, you can take it in your glands, which is under your tongue, and you can also inhale it through and get it into your respiratory system. So edibles, well, one of the effects that if you have used them before, let's say like THC, it's a different type of absorption of the cannabis. Mm-hmm. For instance, let's go with THC first so we can make this nice and clear. Somebody who would take a few draws off of a THC pipe, or a THC cartridge, would have a different outcome than if they consumed the same amount of THC in an edible and it went through their digestive system. The two things I think we can share comfortably is, one is how long it takes for that to become active, for you to feel the effects.
Right.
And two, how long it stays with you. If it went through the digestive system, it generally stayed with you sometimes 2 or even 3 times longer. Does that sound about accurate?
I would give it a good 8 hours for an edible
with THC in it?
Your body. Yeah.
And so who would that benefit? That would benefit somebody who's using it for sleep.
Yeah.
If you're doing CBD, it could benefit you if you're somebody who is trying to manage just kind of a moderate level of anxiety, or if you're trying to manage a severe case of inflammation because of arthritis or some pain because of some recent event. So maintaining a level of CBD in your body to help manage those things could be done easier if it went through your digestive system. Just keep in mind, the start of it would be a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Okay.
All edibles, I say, well, depending on the person, take about an hour to get the full effect.
I absolutely agree with you 100%.
Capsules, gummies, all those edibles have to go through your digestive system.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, there's one other thing we know about it going through your digestive system, and that is the availability of the product can decrease because your digestive system can hinder that.
Well, it's going to consume some of it. I mean, your stomach acid is going to always destroy a small part of what goes in there. That's what it's there for.
Right. Yeah. All right. And most of the absorption is in your small intestine. It takes a little while to get in there. FYI, that's kind of why it all is the way it is.
Yeah.
So there are different uses for edibles that are very condition specific. I think is where we're going with that.
Yeah, and even dog treats. So if you're like, we went camping recently. I took the dogs, or dog, a good one. And she had CBD treats all weekend. And she was like, this is the best.
Right? Yeah, the anxiety of being apart from part of the family was solved. And the overstimulation of all the campers around you and other pets around. I'm pretty sure that helped there too.
No, it definitely helped her through the weekend. And me.
Yeah.
I had my little bag of CBD gummies.
Right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, because, go out there and that's what you were trying to do is relax, huh?
Yeah.
All right, let's try the different types of edibles because it's kind of fun. But, hey, the list is not that big, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So it probably started out, as you were talking about, it started out, brownies. Why? Because one of the earlier recipes, by the way, the cannabis molecule absorbs best with oil. Mm-hmm. So to make a butter absolutely made sense. The solubility there is perfect, and some heat activates the cannabinoids, and there you go. So that's why that was such a popular thing to do. Right. So think about this. If you had butter, then how many things could you bake?
Yeah.
You can now bake. You can bake cookies. You can bake brownies. But probably it's endless.
Anything that butter goes in.
Now be careful when you bake these things because if they're out and about and you have guest children, even pets, they're all going to go, oh look, nice dish of brownies.
Yes, always be careful with especially your THC edibles.
Yes,
because they do. Now they look like those little gummy bear vitamins that you fed your kids, over the years and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, let's stand back with the funny stuff and let's take a very accountable statement here. This is very important.
Yes.
Most edibles look extremely inviting and very, very familiar.
Yeah.
To kids and babies and pets and guests. So, taking a responsible role here. Make sure if you are involved in this, be accountable.
Yes.
All right. One of the things that we have had reports on is that the more cannabis is released from its legal constraints, Well, of course, the other side of the table is saying, well, we're recognizing more hospital visits of youth who have over-ingested THC. But again, we're looking at this going, okay, so that's a problem, but there are a lot worse things out there.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so, but be mindful of that. As recreational increases, so have the visits of our younger humans because of an over intoxication of THC because they found a plate of brownies somewhere. All right.
Well, and it's easy to do because you're not going to feel the effects right away. So you're like, I don't feel anything. Even
right.
if you know what you're taking,
Let me eat 2 more.
you'll be like, I don't feel anything. I'm going to eat another one. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's get off the serious subject back to other things. So they've made chocolate. They've made candy bars. They've made brownies. They've made gummies. They've made certain types of candies.
Yes.
What am I missing, Kim?
Well, I mean, gum.
Yeah,
Also,
I mean
there's
gum.
gum edibles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what's in my gum. My edible case. I've got seltzer water with CBD in it, but gum. I don't know if you would consider a toothpick an edible, but it.
Yeah, but you're right. It is an
goes
edible.
in that area.
Yes. Yeah.
Capsules. Of
Those
course.
little things that melted in your mouth, the Listerine strips used to
Right.
have them. Yeah.
Yes. Gummies. Caramels.
Oh yeah, caramels, right? That's
chocolate.
a big splash right now.
There's just so many things
Yeah.
that and every flavor you could possibly think of is there too.
So you can see why it's kind of cool for us to give you kind of ideas on how to make your own because it is somewhat unlimited. So, yeah, you really could go crazy here.
Yeah.
Let's keep going on. So let's see different types. Let's go with what the types of cannabis that can go into these edibles that we just talked about. And we're going to divide them in 2 categories. CBD, so this is more medicinal, and then THC, which could be recreational and medicinal. Let's go to the CBD first. We all should know this if you're a listener, that CBD comes in 3 forms: an isolate, a broad spectrum, and a full spectrum. And all that really means, as you get closer to full spectrum, the more of the plant that is present in that product. So, a CBD isolate, that is a single molecule that can be created as a powder that can be mixed with literally anything. As a matter of fact, there is a form of gummies, and make sure to correct me if you need to, Kimberly. There are 2 forms of gummies on how they put their CBD in there, and one is coated, so the gummy is coated with CBD, or you can have a gummy that is infused with CBD. Am I correct, Kimberly?
Yes.
Very good. So the isolate is the easiest because you can just put it anywhere.
Right.
You can stir it up in your coffee. You can sprinkle over your mac and cheese. Literally, you can do anything you want with it. But
Yes.
remember, folks, it's a single molecule. Does not have the rest of the plant with it.
Right.
All right. So, knowing that, you also have 2 forms. So we talked about one form. It can come in a powder. Yes, you can buy this from a dispensary. Yes, you can also buy it from a CBD shop. It's a CBD isolate. Usually, it'll come in a little quarter-size plastic container, a little round plastic container.
Like a gram, I think is what I sell.
Right. It'll be a white powder sold in about a gram. And what do you say the price is?
Oh, they're so cheap. And I have 1,000 milligrams of CBD isolate in that little 1 gram jar, and I believe it's maybe $25.
Very good.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of just CBD molecule by itself, you can go pick up one of those, and you can sprinkle it on your toast. You can do lots of different things with it. It's very easy to manage.
Yeah.
Okay. The other type is an oil or an extracted distillate, some form of the extracted ingredient right from the plant. Most times you can't get to that because you have to have a relationship with somewhere in the supply chain, but you can get the oil with the CBD mixture in it.
Yeah.
And yes, that can be used to make your ingredients, and we'll show you how later.
Yeah.
THC. You can also get the extracted oil,
Yes.
and you can also get the flour itself, and then make the butter as Kimberly had spoke of earlier. And those are how you put those ingredients into your baked goods.
Yeah.
They're good?
Yeah, and we'll tell you again how to do that later.
Yeah. Potency. All right, last piece on really looking at the differences in edibles. And this is a kind of an important one. As we had talked, if you really don't understand this part, you're going to have a bumpy night.
Yeah, really, especially in the THC world. Watch your.
Yeah, only
try
in the
and watch
THC,
your milligrams if you can. Try and figure it out.
Yeah.
Because it can lead down to just a longer night. Like you're just not going to be comfortable for a while.
And there's pros and cons for both, right? So even in the CBD, you can't get too much because CBD doesn't have that type of effect on you.
No.
But you can go too little and take it and go, how come I'm not getting relief for the reason I took this?
Yeah.
And that can be just disappointing. How about that?
Right.
So let's talk to each one of those. Let's go to the CBD first. So lots of times CBD will come in, what do you say sizes? I've seen them as small as 2 milligram. Now, what is a common max that you've seen in an edible CBD?
Well, at my store, I only go up to 25 milligrams.
Okay, 25.
Per edible.
Per edible.
Yes.
Okay. And so if they wanted 50, they would just consume 2 of them because we're really talking about what? Capsules or gummies, right? And caramels and stuff like that. Okay.
Yes. So I would say 10 milligrams is where I see my low. I
That's
don't
your
go
minimum?
under 10.
Okay.
Because why?
I might be talking about dog treats, huh?
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
dog treats are
yeah.
completely different. They start at 1 milligram.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And go up to 5. But human, they start at 10, and I go to 25. I don't think I've seen a 50 milligram, but I've seen a 30 milligram.
Okay.
I just didn't bring it in the store.
Okay. Now, again, the only issue there is, remember, CBD is well tolerated in humans. That has already been clinically addressed, and we're all good there. So you can take, 600 milligrams is what I hear. Some clinical trials are using these days because they really need the evidential efficacies of these products. But commonly in the store, 25, 50, that all sounds very reasonable. But if you don't take enough, when you're trying to solve something, and you have to wait 45 an hour for it to kick in anyway, it just becomes disappointing, that's all.
Yeah, well, again, like I always say, the first couple of weeks or week is when you're trying to figure out the milligrams.
Yeah.
So those who buy the 10 milligrams, I say, eat one, wait an hour. If you're like, okay, that could be good, but I might need a little more, eat one more. Now, if you're at the 25 milligram and that does not do it for you, I would cut the second one in half, because we don't want to waste it. Well, gosh, go ahead, eat the second one. You're just going to be either very sleepy or you're going to feel great.
Well, all right.
You're just trying to find your number.
Yeah, and she's right. And that's the girl's version. The guy's version is, dude, eat the second one. just eat it. Just figure it out. Now, where she goes is yes, she has a wonderful viewpoint there. And it's also economical, too.
Yeah.
Hey, if you didn't need the whole gummy, just cut it in half, because now you got the half for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So economic is always a big deal, and there we go. Okay.
Yeah, it's not, again...
That was wonderful, Kimberly. That was good.
It's not candy.
That was good. Let's go to the THC.
Okay, now, this one?
All right, so we know that the range seems to be 5 to 15 milligrams. 5 milligrams to 15 milligrams per edible seems to be a common range for an average consumer of THC.
Yes.
All right, I'm at the dispensary, I see a bag, I want to know how many milligrams of THC per edible so I can make a good decision, okay?
Yeah, definitely know what, a lot of the bags will just put the number of all.
Right, you'll have to do some math.
And so make sure you find out on that package somewhere in there should be the milligrams per edible.
You can do that, or let's say if you did see the package and it says 50 milligrams of THC, because it is a world of marketing, right? 50 milligrams of THC. And then you see that there are 10 gummies in there, or 10 something in there.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do the math. And you can look on the back too. But that's most important.
Yeah,
Okay?
definitely.
All right.
And they
What
go
do you-
all the way up to 100,
Yeah, what do you know about... Yeah, exactly.
which is scary.
What's the bigger numbers?
100 milligrams is the biggest number that I've seen. And those are for your very experienced, high tolerance individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you can't, anybody else better not. You have to work your way up to that.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and I think they probably need to have that because one thing we have shared with you before in more research-driven shows is that the human body does become tolerant of THC. It does not become tolerant of the CBD molecule, but it does of the THC molecule.
Yes.
And so over time, resistant, more and more resistant. As a matter of fact, we've offered the suggestion of every couple of months you need to go through a 2-week period of withdrawing from it so that your body can recalibrate itself.
Yeah, just a little bit of an abstinence and just kind of, get through that week or two and then you're back in, you don't have to have those high milligrams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's continue this conversation about potency because I think this is where we see the biggest fears.
Yeah.
And so so let's go there. So when I'm at let's go to the CBD first. When I'm at a CBD store, what I want to do is I want to refer to a dosage chart. Mm-hmm. I want to understand what my condition is, how me personally might affect, like, what is it, body weight?
Body weight and
severity of the condition.
Yes.
And find out where your best daily dose should be.
Right.
And then you move to, okay, what edible do I want to pick from?
Right.
And then from that I know what strength I need. Now you're just going to go into the other areas. Do I have any dietary needs? Am I concerned about sugars? And you just kind of move in a regular direction that you would with any food.
Yeah, it's definitely, because you want to make sure that, I have customers, they want the vegan gummies.
Right, yeah.
I have these beautiful, wonderful caramels in the store, and they're 25 milligrams, and they're a full spectrum. But they're real homemade, like a real homemade caramel. They're real sugar and butter and cream. They're wonderful. But if you don't want those calories, then you need to move to something else. I have the waters are in there. They are sugar free. I have a diabetic with neuropathy. He says this is wonderful. This is perfect for me. I don't have to worry about the sugar, and it's helping my neuropathy. And they're 25 milligrams, he said, and they do the trick. Yeah. They do it.
And because he's ingesting them, it lasts a little bit longer.
A little bit
Takes
longer.
a little slower to get in there, but he's probably consuming them on a regular basis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's the trick. Right. So as she's talking about this product, neuropathy is a big deal. Anybody who has it knows it's a big deal. And so he chooses the water so he can just continually keep that dose in there. He's not really coming off of it and then has to struggle getting back on. He's just maintaining that level. Yeah, and in neuropathy patients, that's kind of important.
Yeah, and with any pain and neuropathy, yes, definitely. But you don't want to wait for it to be inflamed again. You don't want that inflammation to build again where there you are in pain. Now you have to try and get the CBD in there and get it under control again.
Yeah, right.
It's just like, I guess, what we want to say after a surgery. When the doctor says, don't wait for the pain, take your pill, accordingly to this prescription. So it's the same thing with CBD. Anxiety, everything. Don't wait for it. Yeah. Make it a daily thing.
Yeah. I think that's great. Great suggestion.
Yeah.
Now let's move over to the THC. Again, with maybe some good recommendations if, hey, your state just recently became legal, i.e. Arizona, and 4 others. If it just recently became legal, you might be interested in giving this a try. You might want to do it recreationally. You might want to do it to help you improve your sleep. There are a number of solutions that THC does have valid valid benefits for. So let's just say you want to try it. I suggest if we knew the range was 5 to 15 milligrams of THC, hey, very difficult to take one and cut it up and really believe that you're going to have an equal division of THC in both, an equal amount in those pieces. So the best might be, and this is just kind of a nice recommendation, is go for the smaller batch first. Buy the ones that are 5 milligrams of THC per edible. You're not getting what you want out of the first one? What is it? Do another one.
Again, wait at least an hour. I think this is where people get into the most
You
trouble.
would be correct. Yes, you would be. I'm there. Right? I'm always like, this ain't working.
You're right. And then, you know, an hour and a half later, you're like on the floor.
Okay, fair.
So don't, you have to wait at least an hour. And then if you don't feel anything, if it's only 5 milligrams, go ahead and eat another one.
Right. Now, and listen, I'm going to be in her court right now. If you just give in to, this is what I'm trying to do, is find my dose.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, then from then on, it's a breeze. It makes sense. And then your purchases will be more defined. It's perfect. It really does work much better if you take this approach.
Right, yes. And believe me, you are going to feel something. But some individuals, it takes a little longer than others. And once you're in a THC storm, you're not getting out of it for, 8 hours. So
well, and
it calms down a little bit gradually.
Yeah, let's not spook everybody.
You can't go. It's not like if you smoked.
Yeah.
That pretty much dissipates within about 15 minutes.
All right. Okay, and if you do get into what you refer to as a THC storm, keep in mind that CBD is a counter to that.
Right.
Clinically shown to be a counter to that.
Yeah.
So if you get into that THC, I can't be effective. If you take some CBD, and you'd have to take it some way other than ingesting it, because you don't want to wait an hour and a half for that to kick in. So if you take a tincture, or if you take a vape pen and put CBD into your respiratory system, you'll get an effect fairly quick, which will calm down your THC.
Yes.
Just FYI.
Yeah.
And dose, 20 milligram doses of this, not little teeny doses. Get a reasonable dose of CBD to be able to counter that THC.
Right.
Okay. Here's what we want to do. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to help you to make your own edibles. Sound fun?
Yes, it does.
And we didn't bring any kitchen stuff, so don't think it's that way. It really is just a discussion around how to make them.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Excellent. Oh my goodness, I forgot to turn my phone off, so expect the next time it rings, I'll be pushing that little red button.
Sorry, we forgot.
We won't push the green button, we'll push the red button.
We forgot, yes.
No, it's not that we forgot. We set it up, and when she said, hey, did you put it on Do Not Disturb? I tried to do it, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. While we're on live cam, and while we're on Facebook Live, and I didn't want to turn Facebook Live off to solve it and then turn it back on, because listen, I'm no expert in this area. I have people that do that. And I don't want to call somebody in for this. So we're just going to manage it this way.
Yes.
All right.
We will we'll just say no, decline that call when it comes in.
Right.
You're going to see Ed's giant yellow hand coming
That's
to you
right.
to turn it off.
And probably struggling with all the buttons, by the way. Clunk, clunk.
Just laugh at us. That's all you can do.
I'm really glad this show's on a Friday. So, yeah. Listen, I hope this has been helpful so far. One of the benefits... Go ahead.
Oh, I think one of the best things about this is that don't stress. Because especially if it's your first time doing a THC edible, don't stress, because that anxiety is just gonna make it not fun. So just calm down, relax. This is gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
Go that route instead of, oh my God, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Don't do that. You'll be fine.
20 seconds. 20 seconds. And then keep in mind, ingesting either one of those, CBD or THC, has a delayed reaction. And I think that's what gets most people. Most people don't really think through that one until it actually happens. I'm like, what's going on? So keep that one in mind, the delayed action.
Yeah.
Hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. You're somewhere in that group. Okay, we're getting ready to come back on.
You are tuned into the CBD Ed Show. If you have a question you'd like addressed on a future episode of our program, please send an email to info@cannafyl.com. That's info@cannafyl.com. Now back to the CBD Ed Show.
Hey, listeners, welcome back to the CBD Ed Show. Let's talk about cannabis edibles. All right. Cannabis edibles, CBD or THC. Let's talk about how to make them.
Well, I can tell you that I've only made them from the flower, both CBD and THC. From the flower form. I have never made an oil. Well, I guess that's not true because I add my oil every morning to my shake.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's considered an edible, right? I just make my shake and I put my CBD right in there and blend it all up, and that's how so I guess that would be considered an edible.
Yeah.
So that would be the easiest way to use your oil. You can put it in coffee, you can put it in tea, you can put it in your shake. It's pretty easy.
What oil are you talking about so that they have a little bit more?
I use the Cannafyl Relief or Balance. I don't really care for the peppermint in my shake, but I use the Relief in my shake. And
yeah.
Do you need milligrams?
Yeah. Well, so if they wanted to make a shake at home, they probably need to know the how.
The how?
Yeah, they just pour the whole bottle in there.
No, your dropper is your friend. Is your best friend. You dose according to your dropper, and you know where your dose is because you're familiar with your Cannafyl Relief. And you just add it right into the tea, the coffee, the shake, whatever it is you want to add it to.
Now you will hear that CBD. Most cannabis molecules are not water soluble. So you're like, well, why are you adding it into your shake? Well, we have already infused it into the oil that is in that product. Yeah. So when she talks about if you have a tincture that you had purchased from a quality place, because you can get them at CBD stores or in dispensaries, cannabis dispensaries. Anyway, if you purchase quality tincture, a CBD tincture, then that product is then ready to just go ahead and mix right into your blended fruity thing in the morning.
Yes, and you can also with my pet owners. So you're saying, well, they don't really eat their food right away. How can I get my, because you need to make sure when you're doing CBD that you're getting your full dose every time you take it. So we have a little Chihuahua in the family, and she doesn't have all of her teeth.
Right.
So she gets a little tiny piece of bread, and I just take the oil and put it on that little piece of bread, and she gobbles it right up, and she gets her CBD that way. That's an edible. Yeah. The cookies are too hard for her. She can't eat them. Right. You can put CBD, anything you put oil on or in, you can put CBD oil on or in.
So let's talk about one that's extremely popular, and I'm going to say extremely easy to make, and that is gummies. Before I got into this world, I didn't know how to make a gummy. Did you?
No, I've never made a gummy out of THC or CBD.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I have, but I know how to now.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to share with you. And gummies, the list of ingredients is extremely small. The list of ingredients are just this: fruit juice, your choice.
Yeah.
Concentrated or not, just fruit juice. A sweetener. Again, you could use sugar, you could use honey, you could use sativa, but you need a sweetener. Or I think most people prefer a sweetener, as a gummy is usually sweet.
Yeah.
Gelatin. And then whatever product you want to put in there. Why do I say whatever? You could put CBD, you could put THC, you could put vitamins in there. Mm-hmm. Because that's what we are really familiar with. We give our kids these things.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why if we have THC gummies around, we need to hide them. Anyway, Quick little segue. All right, let's talk about this. So we're going to make, let's say we want to make 20 gummies. And usually you have to have a tray to form these gummies, or, just a long, thin sheet so that you can slice them up at the end. Either one of those will work. So let's do the math here. If you are going to do 20 gummies in this tray, and you want each one to have 2 milligrams of CBD, do the ingredients as per the gelatin box. Okay, add in your fruit mix, add in your gelatin, add in your sweetener. And then when it comes to the CBD mix, in that entire mix, if you want 20 treats to be at 2 milligrams each, then you need to put 40 milligrams of CBD in this batch. Okay? You're going to heat it up, which, by the way, that's the solubility increases there, because you're going to take this product and add it to that, and heat's going to bind it. And then, and if you're working with THC, heat's going to release, carboxylate the THC delta 9 for even further THC. So heating is always good if you're going to make THC gummies. Anyway, here's how I want you to discern how many milligrams, or how to determine how many milligrams you have of CBD to put into this recipe.
Right.
This recipe I just shared with you calls for 40 milligrams of CBD. So if I had purchased a bottle, a 30 milliliter bottle or 1 ounce bottle of, say, Cannafyl Relief, 1,000 milligrams. What that means is there's 1,000 milligrams in the 30 mil bottle. So if I take that 30 mil bottle and divide it into 30 milliliters, which, by the way, happens to be the size of the dropper.
Again, your dropper is your friend.
1 milliliter is the size of that dropper. I now know that there's 33 milligrams of CBD in that 1 milliliter dropper.
Right.
Perfect. So how many droppers do I want to put in my ingredient mix here? I want to put 1 1/4. That
Right.
gets me really close to 40 milliliter or 40 milligrams of CBD. Got it?
Yeah.
If I wanted to do, if I purchased, or I looked up in my cupboard and I only had a 500 milligram 30 mil bottle, now I know there's only 17 milligrams of CBD per 1 milliliter dropper. So a whole dropper is only worth 17. So now I got to do the math and say I got to get 2.5 droppers of that product into my gelatin ingredient mix.
Yeah, I mean, I would say as a baker, if you wanted to make a nice, good batch of CBD gummies and you wanted them to be 10 milligrams, you're going to buy a higher milligram bottle of CBD, because you don't want to put that much oil.
That's correct.
Into your product.
So the oil is going to alter the flavor.
Yeah.
So yes, if you are going to do this, and it doesn't matter whether you are making brownies, cookies, gummies, okay? Go ahead and go out there and buy the 1,500 milligram in a 30 milliliter bottle. Get something where the dropper has a minimum 50 milligrams of CBD in it. Listen, we've watched this over and over and over again. Somebody will have a product that is a 1 ounce bottle, 30 milliliters, and they'll say it's got 1,000 milligrams of CBD in it. Right down the street, you're going to find somebody who has, well, I've got a 2 ounce product or a 60 milliliter bottle, and it's got 1,000 milligrams of CBD in it.
And it's the same price.
Each dropper, let me tell you what's happening. Bottle number 1, that's only 30 milliliters, that is 1,000 milligrams of CBD, has a 33 milligram dose of CBD per dropper. The second guy only has 17.
Yeah.
Because his bottle increased, but his potency did not.
Right. He's diluted it with more.
And now you got more oil that you got to shove down.
Yeah, and
All right?
so and
okay.
one of
Just want to make sure you got that.
One of the key tricks to making any edible that that I have figured out is you really have to stir. You really have to mix it in. Mix that stuff
Brownies and such. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
you want to have an even distribution.
Right.
You don't want one gummy with all the CBD in it because you didn't mix it up really well.
Right.
Really mix it up really, really well.
Now, I think with a clear liquid like CBD or like gummies, it's fairly easy. But let's go ahead and move over to the baking goods, baked goods like cookies and brownies and pastries and such, even caramels, where mixing it is somewhat, because it's dense, it's very viscous. Yeah. And so that, when we say mix it, we mean mix it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If you've got a machine, use the machine. If not, your arms better be burning before you're done.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just really want to get that
This is a tip from us.
well
We know.
distributed. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, let's keep going on. So hopefully that helps. Feel free to write us or request from us, info@Cannafyl, or on our Instagram at Cannafyl, and we'll share all the recipes we have access to. So no big deal. Or we'll help answer some questions before you get started, because who wants to spend $40 on the product and then ruin the final product?
Yeah, and this article that we found is great, and it will be.
We're happy to share it.
It will be on wherever you need it. I'll put it on the website.
right.
Everything.
Okay, all right, let's. So keep it simple that way. Make your favorite treat. We've showed you how to dose, how to get a hold of the product, and how to figure out the dosage that goes into the product.
Yeah.
Okay, and then once you've got, if you've got 40 milligrams of CBD in your brownie mix, you cut them the way you want now. If
Yeah.
you want 10 milligrams per brownie, you got 4 brownies there. Make sense?
Right. Yeah.
All right, good deal. All right, super simple. Don't let it get in your way. All right, we want to go with some frequent questions that have been asked by our customers. And we thought we'd share some of those questions, is it legal to consume cannabis? And I know Kim's got some great answers out, but let me stage this up a little bit better. Consuming cannabis, let's break it into 2 categories: consuming CBD or consuming THC. From a federal level, consuming CBD, no-brainer. That's been removed from the scheduled list, done, as of October 2018.
Yeah.
So CBD is no big deal. But if you go to your state regulatory agencies, some states still have an issue with CBD. I think there's 2 of them out there. So be mindful if your state has their own regulatory system for CBD.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to THC, if you don't already know this, if you're in a recreation state, you can buy it freely. There's likely limits. If you are in a medical state for THC, that means you have to be a card carrier. And if you are in a no THC allowed state, then you're not buying it.
No.
Okay.
And it's not legal to have it.
Right. Now, how about traveling with these edibles? Traveling with CBD in the United States, completely cleared.
Yes.
Traveling with THC, lots of troubles.
Yeah.
Because you can move from one state that's recreational legal to another state that's only medicinal. And if you don't have your card, then you can then be charged with possession. So be mindful of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Crossing international borders can also be a struggle depending on that border. So what we're going to suggest is always check your destination.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Definitely.
If your destination is okay, keep in mind that it is the state or the it's not who manages our airport security.
TSA.
It's not TSA. TSA is not there to monitor drugs. Period.
Right.
They've made that statement very clear.
Yeah.
But they will go, hey, by the way, local officials, there's some marijuana in that bag.
Yeah.
They'll do something like that, but
Right.
that's not their thing.
Right.
Have anything to add to that?
Not really.
Legal?
I mean, I think
Okay.
that's really that's the legality of it. I know there's always issues with FDA and edibles because, there just is.
Yeah.
My manufacturers that bring in the edibles all have a certificate that they can make them.
Yep.
Cook
And
them.
we'll even talk a little bit
Yeah.
more about those.
I
But yeah, she does make a good point. But those both of those that you're talking about are really on the manufacturer side. They're not on the consumer side.
Right.
Those really aren't consumer kind of questions.
Yeah.
But it is a question you should have when defining whether your provider of edibles is producing with quality, though.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that. I have another question here is, am I going to get high? My guess is they were talking about CBD. And CBD, these days, it's impossible to get high if you did not buy it from a dispensary. Here's why. If you bought a CBD edible, not in a dispensary, then it has to conform with the 2018 Farm Bill, which makes the maximum THC percentage 0.3%. There is no way you can get high on that. And you can consume the whole bag and you likely will still be exactly the same.
Yeah.
All right, so think about that 0.3% as compared to the smallest THC gummy being 5%.
Yeah.
What's the math there? It's a huge number.
Right.
I don't even know if your stomach can handle all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't worry about the get high part. It's really not going to happen unless they're not complying with the Farm Bill. And how do you know? There's testing. There's third-party testing. Should be available on the website or in person, so forth and so on.
Correct.
Okay. Now, can't make that same claim if you're buying products from a dispensary because they are allowed to put as much THC as they want. Some people, sometimes you will go to a dispensary and buy a CBD product and it'll be a 1-to-1, meaning 1 molecule of CBD to 1 molecule of THC. So if you get, something with 10 molecules of CBD in it, or 10% or 10 milligrams of CBD, you could also be getting 10 milligrams of THC, and we've already discussed between 5 and 15 is the average. So yes, you are going to get high from that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
How many should I take is also a common question. And again, I'm going to suggest that we had talked earlier about you having access to some form of dosage reference, which, by the way, I'll tout on Cannafyl.com. There is one for you. It will address things like the severity of the condition you want to treat.
Yes.
It will suggest things like what is your weight, because this is something that is natural. Your body will determine a lot. The size of your body, the makeup of you, will determine a lot on the absorption rate. So the answer to this question of how many should I take, you should first understand you and how you absorb CBD. And a dosage chart is the best way to go there. And once you've determined that, you'll come out with, oh, okay, I look down the chart, it's 20 milligrams a dose for me. So then I'm going to go to a store and I'm going to look for something that meets with that.
Yeah.
Gummies that are 10 milligrams, I'm going to take 2. I'm fine because there's 20 in the bag. Or you know what, I'm just going to stick with 20 milligrams. I'm going to find that bag that has something close to 20 milligrams per gummy or per brownie or per whatever.
Right.
Good.
Definitely a good idea to always just know your milligrams.
Yeah.
And in the beginning
That's
you
the
don't
key.
know, so you got to figure out.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit of time. It doesn't take a long time.
And thank you for that, because there is a step 2. You're right. So step 1 is going to a chart, which, by the way, is very generic, and us people, we're very unique. So the chart is just a start guide.
Yeah.
And then you have to go to personal experience,
Right.
which literally could only take a couple of days.
Yeah, it really doesn't take. I would give it a week.
Yeah, that's
just
fair.
kind of play around with it and say, oh, maybe that was too much, or oh, that wasn't enough. I'm close. I'm right here.
Yeah.
But it's all about the number. It's just about the number of milligrams.
And the 2 benefits are only this: solving your problem and staying economical. That's it.
Right.
CBD.
And that's, I want to say that's THC also.
Oh, could be, yeah.
You know your milligrams, and if it's an edible, I mean, you know.
But THC, your body becomes resistant to it over time, so it
Right.
changes, but CBD does not.
Yeah.
So once you find your dose in CBD, it will stay. But if you find your dose in THC, you'll have to alter that, and you'll know by good observations. And let me go back to something that we might have missed when we were talking about baking your own goods. I think we missed, and you kind of lightly brought it up, but I want to share so people can make butter, from a cannabis product. We talked about making the butter with the THC, the marijuana flower.
Yes.
And again, feel free to ask us at Cannafyl.com, and we will get you that recipe. But do you know you can also make CBD butter?
Oh yeah, it's the same.
It is becoming so popular now. There are hemp flowers, there are hemp buds that are solely from the hemp plant, have all the benefits because the plant's not been disturbed.
Right.
And yes, there is a way to extract those molecules out at home. Feel free to ask us.
Yes.
I know we had missed that earlier. I want to make sure everybody knew that is a growing popular thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How long do they take, and how long do they take to wear off? So how long do they take to kick in? How long do they take to wear off? Is really what that common question was.
Yeah.
We've talked about how long it takes to kick in. For humans, it's somewhere around that 45 to an hour and a half. Is that still good?
It is really just up to each individual.
But that's the spread, though.
For me, it's about 30 minutes.
Oh.
For Ed, it's about an hour and a half.
All right, so we're going to go 30 minutes to an hour and a half.
I have a lot lower tolerance than he does, so he needs more milligrams. I need less milligrams. There's just I think in general, males have a higher tolerance than females. So that's just something. And then how long does it last? Or where?
Yeah, how long does it last? I'm going to say 4 to 8 hours. Again, depending on your metabolism. 4 to 8 hours.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think some can wear off in 4 and some can wear off at all the way up to 8. So be prepared is what she's trying to say. If you're doing medicinal, keep an eye on that time clock. In 4 hours, it might start to wear off. Once you become aware of what that time frame is yours, dose an hour before.
Right.
Okay.
With pets, edibles, CBD stays in their body, let's say 3 to 5 hours. So know that.
All right. Let's do a quick define quality. First and foremost, anybody offering any cannabis in any edible should be providing you with a relevant third-party certificate of analysis that will both talk of potency as well as things that are in it that could be harmful to you, pesticides, heavy metals, so forth, mold. Okay, so look for a third-party test as one of the defining quality statements. What's another one? So you talked about gummies.
Yeah. There's 2 types. There's an infused CBD gummy, and then there's the other one that's just kind of coated.
Coated. Now, what's the problem with the coated ones? Or what could be the problem, though, I mean?
It's usually isolate that's on the outside, so I can't imagine that tastes fabulous, because usually what they do to stop that taste of chemical is they'll put sugar all around it. So I don't bring those into my store. Coated CBD gummies don't help. I don't think they work, because the CBD and the sugar, everything falls onto the bag.
So your dose is not regulated.
You're not accurate in your dose. You can't depend on those. So you want to look for an infused CBD gummy.
Yep.
And I believe even a THC infused. I don't think you can put THC around the outside. So it's just CBD that they coat them with.
Yeah.
Infuse it. It's not going to be a beautiful gummy. It's going to look like it's a homemade gummy. That's what it's supposed to look like. It's not candy, it's medicine.
Okay. Now, so look for the word infused is the key. Look for the word infused. Okay, we have run out of time, folks, so I think this is a wrap for this show today. I want to thank all our listeners for allowing us to share this knowledge with you today.
Yes.
We really do. We really do appreciate it. I want you to stay connected with us on Instagram at the CBD Ed Show, or Instagram at Cannafyl. And also, stay tuned for Ryan Treasure and Deidre Schill as they discuss the power of your mind and share the 12 rules on how to make it work for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting show.
With
and
an edible. No, I'm kidding.
And it's coming up next. All right, this is Ed Cheney and Kimberly Rose, your hemp authority, wishing you a cannerific day. Bye.
That like
Thanks.
cannaberific. That's funny.
You got it. Okay, you too. All right, guys, that was our show today. Hope that was helpful.
Yeah.
Again, we're happy to pass on recipes, stuff that we have, maybe we might have experiences with, but most of them is just we know who to ask.
Yeah.
Right? We have lots of access to expertise. And keep that in mind, we have lots of access to expertise in general when it comes to cannabis. We have become quite the authority because we've been doing this now for almost 4 years.
Yeah, and we have to deal with it every day.
Yes,
there's
absolutely.
Always questions. There's always something.
Yep, and we're a knowledge-based company, so we really do. I don't often, do a good job, presenting clinical stuff, but man, do I got a head full of that knowledge.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for joining us today. We're going to turn this sucker off. So everybody have a good weekend. Bye.
Okay.